Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and with me, as always, is Kyle Ferguson. Kyle, I wasn't sure you were going to show up today.
I made it. Oh, the plane funk, dude. That's 2 weddings of 4 down. Got 1 more, 2 weekends out, then yours, Halloween. Oh, travel.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just got back from DragonCon. I am miraculously not sick. And folks, I usually get sick at the drop of a hat. I could go to the doctor's office for a blood test, not because I'm sick, and I will leave that doctor's office sick. So that's great. That's a good time. I can't believe it because DragonCon is the biggest damn convention I ever went to, Kyle, and I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. All week I was just like, is today the day I'm going to wake up feeling like crap? No, it's time to party.
You know, normally my hands are like, it's like in my pockets, on my lap. Like I'm so careful about not touching pores and eyes and stuff. But I did 2 red eyes, and you can't help but go, oh, and everything you touch right in the eyeball. Yep. I probably ruined it real bad. The whole flight out there, I slept the entire time. I have no idea who sat next to me or what kind of state I was in. I took my hoodie, I put the top of the hoodie inside the lower hoodie, basically Kermit the Frog my whole face, and just passed out for like 9 hours.
I can never do that. I get so hot if my head is completely enclosed.
But man, on the way back, I was sitting next to this old lady, and she takes off her shoes for one. You know, no big deal. You know, old lady, I guess she's. But it's a freezing flight, and her purse is like this giant mom purse that probably was full of toys when she had younger kids, and now she just kept the purse. So it was dominating her whole foot area, and while she fell asleep, her feet started like slithering onto my foothole underneath the seat in front of me until eventually it slowly made its way inside my bag. Because I guess it was warm. And her feet were cold. And I didn't know what to do with the sweet old lady, but her feet are inside my carry-on bag.
Oh, that is just the worst.
Yes, everything was washed.
God, man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. That's not a good experience.
But I survived. I stood for my friend, you know, helped give him away to his wife as much as, you know, standing there and applauding him could.
Yeah, you were here. You were in Florida, and I left.
I got to go to Disney. I was actually at Disney on a day that I didn't think would be a big deal at all, but happened to just be huge. It was Friday, which happened to be, what, like Force Friday or something?
Yep. It was it was the day that all the toys came out for Star Wars. So it was hashtag Force Friday. Because
you know, Walmarts over the world were going nuts, right?
Yeah.
But here in the park, I had no idea anything special was happening. So I got off Star Tours, and all of a sudden, I'm surrounded by merchandise. And it was such a surreal experience because it's kind of like looking at the faces of the original guys and just trying to like look in, you know, Mark Hamill's face and go, try to pretend you don't know who he is. And now I'm looking at these characters. There's a new Stormtrooper. There's the Sith dude with the mask, whoever he is. And I'm pressing the button, and he's like, I won't stand for this. And then I'm picking up the Jedi dude, and I'm pressing his button. He's like, this is a rough day. And go, go, go. And like they're saying these sayings, which I don't know if they're going to mean the world to me in like 4 months, or if they'll be complete crap. Like the things I'm holding, are these trash or are these treasures?
So you're basically you have Jar Jar Binks post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right, exactly. Like you're sitting there and you're going, I don't know. I mean, the whole time Frozen's coming out, that Disney movie, I'm looking at that snowman being like, you guys done messed this up. And then the movie's over. I'm like, wow, that was fine. Snowman was great.
Yeah, it was just Tangled the second time, and Tangled's better, but it was an okay movie.
Yeah, you're right. It was basically a repeat. My God, man. They merchandised the heck out of that. It was Frozen summer fun. Yep. And they did not print another picture of Elsa in the world because every t-shirt, and just with that sly smile, I'm so sick of her little face. It was everywhere, and it drove me nuts. If I hear Let It Go one more time, I'm going to lose my mind.
You wouldn't have enjoyed DragonCon because there was like a mobile karaoke train, and the first song I heard them do was Let It Go. And I was like, oh, come on, we're at DragonCon, for God's sake. Sing Phenomena. Sing it. But anyways, how's your Heroes week going? I've managed to squeeze some games in today. It's nice. I had a very game light week. Played a little Metal Gear Solid, but I won't get into that. How's
No,
Heroes
I
going
need
for
you to, because I don't know what's going on there. How is it? Because I know you're not a Metal Gear Solid.
I can't help you.
fan.
I don't know what's going on there.
Okay, you have
I can't help
no idea what's going on.
No clue.
Good.
No clue whatsoever. All I know is I'm having a
Balloons
good
are
time.
fun, right?
Yeah, balloons are super fun. That's all I can tell you.
Cool.
I actually recorded a little solo podcast where I talk a decent amount about Metal Gear. I don't think it's on the RSS feed yet, or I don't think it's processed through iTunes. But when it's up, it'll be called The Angry Nerd, and you can find it on iTunes whenever iTunes gets around to approving it. Or you can go to amove.tv/TAN blog, and it's there. So that's cool.
I have nothing to do with this, and so, it's all your work. But I'm proud of you, man. You've been talking about putting that out there for a while.
Yeah.
So good on you for jumping on it.
Go try that. But I'm back in Heroes. I've flip-flopped on the crap I was talking last week. I'm so afraid of Hero League that I'm back in Quick Match again because my Hero Leagues have been awful.
Sure.
However, you and I were taking a look at my, I'm just going to call it my loss ratio earlier today. And
your hot dogs, yes.
I've noticed a pattern. I should just play Johanna because my most recent wins were all on Johanna. So apparently that's what I need to do.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm back in rank 1 because of Skeleton King and only playing him. And for some reason, I was always first pick. I have no idea if that is due to my rank or the people I was matched with or just luck. But I always got Skeleton King. I carried myself up there with his badassness, and I'd like to say he's not OP. It's just that I was too busy taking it away from other people, doing the old, doing the StarCraft thing. Like, I'm not even going to let you get mutas. I'm taking Skeleton King first. But maybe I was carried a little bit.
I think he's a little strong at the moment.
He's a bit strong. Yes.
A little bit. And if we do another coaching session, which I'm starting to think we should just make another goal on the Patreon because I kind of had a good time with that. We should do Skeleton King next because I would like to learn how. Teach me how to Skeleton King, sir. I'd like to learn how to Leoric.
Absolutely. Stutter stepping on him is paramount. It's so bizarre.
Really?
His animation is actually kind of messed up. It's beautiful, the big swing, like woo, and then he does a woo, and then over the top, boom. It looks good. The problem is you will actually be so busy with the backswing animation that people can walk out of your range. So you have to stutter step him. You have to do hit and then immediately move and kind of hit again, and you actually attack faster than you would otherwise.
Okay, cool. Next time we get together, you'll have to walk me through that. That sounds dope.
Very important.
Cool. Well, congrats on rank 1 again. You awesome bastard.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I think we just need to play together more often.
Hey, we can, and only we can now. That happened.
Yeah.
Fast turnaround for Blizzard.
Yeah, getting ahead of ourselves. I guess let's just flip the switch. It's time for Heroes News. Oh my god, it can't be stopped.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Click the play button, and let's get started.
We are getting started. Just a reminder, check out our subreddit, itncast.reddit.com. You can submit stories or talk about the ones we're talking about today. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be talking about Rexar. Well, it's already proven. A lot of people are talking about Rexar because he's the latest hero to be added to the Nexus. So you like orcs, Kyle?
Dude, let's just give it 3 weeks and everyone gets a free slide. Casters, Blizzard employees, people with podcasts. Let's all just say it's okay to say Rhaegar in place of Rexar because this is confusing as hell.
Did I say Rhaegar?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
But we're all going to mess it up.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. But I have a question. Do you like orcs?
Sure.
Do you like ogres?
Yeah, they're all right.
Do you like bears?
Yeah, they're cool.
Do you like hunters in World of Warcraft?
Sure.
Well, do I have a hero for you? Yeah, Rexar is interesting, to say the least.
That's a loaded statement.
That is a loaded statement.
I can hear you holding back a little bit.
I am. So I guess unfiltered, I personally think Rexar is the worst hero they've ever added to the game.
Sure.
Not my cup of tea whatsoever. I don't like Rexar.
It can be disappointing when you're wanting to rank up and a new hero's coming, and all you can think is, maybe this is that magical one for me that's going to skyrocket me in skill.
Yeah. That is so not the case.
You're a big hunter man, too.
I'm a huge hunter man, dude. My original main in World of Warcraft, the dude I took from level 1 in vanilla when Burning Crusade hadn't even been announced yet, to I think I threw him away in Naxxramas during Wrath of the Lich King because I had to quit my guild because I was ready to murder everybody, and I went Horde. But my first main, man, first thing I ever raided with was a hunter. I've done it all, and that was my main PvP character for a long time, so I was all about the Beast Mastery, because Bestial Wrath is amazing, so you would think I would just be in love with Rexxar. But instead, I'm just really confused.
Mm.
I feel like he's I don't know, I feel like he's a hero without a place. I don't know what his home is.
Fair enough. In this age where we're trying to figure out what Blizzard's plan is, and they don't even know how to label their heroes correctly at the moment, Rexxar being a warrior, for one, is a very strange thing.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and throw out, some positive opinions here, because I love the guy. I think he's awesome.
I am so happy to hear that, because we were going into the show today. I'm like, Kyle, please tell me you like Rexxar and not just going to one of us have to play devil's advocate. So I'm really happy to hear that you unabashedly love him. And for me to say some good things, I like what they accomplished, and that's, again, loaded, because I don't like the hero at all, and I don't think he fits in the game right now. But he does feel like a Beastmaster hunter, and that's super funky. And I think that's part of my complaint. Is like, that works great in World of Warcraft. I don't think it works great in a MOBA.
Right. I mean, if you're listening to the community right now, there's a lot of people really upset. In fact, the majority of the community figureheads are overwhelmingly against the direction they took with Rexxar. If you're listening to a pro player out there, take what they say with a grain of salt. A hero that gets added to the game that is overpowered or fits their perfect playstyle means more money and fame for them. So remember that. That's important. They all wanted Lone Druid from Dota, or something more like Lost Vikings. Rexxar, you command him. Misha, you command him. Everyone's happy, right?
Misha's a girl.
Oh, right.
Pushes up glasses.
It comes into play so much in the lore. You got to watch out. Misha's boyfriend comes over, beats Rexxar. That's, it happened. Look it up. Play The Founding of Dorotar. It happened.
Sounds wonderful.
But I love him. And there's a lot of things about Rexxar that couldn't happen if things were different. So, to me, when I was playing him for the first time, I'm talking to Misha like she's an actual pet and controlled by someone completely different. And I love that. I'm like, Misha, get the heck over here. Where are you going, Misha? Like, to me, it had so much personality. The bear is running around. It's not doing exactly what I want it to. I'm like, it has its own feelings. It's a pet. It's like a Tamagotchi. I got to feed it in the afternoon.
Oh, man. I don't want to rain on your parade because you're so happy, but everything you just said sounds wonderful in a game that isn't this one.
Right. Like in some sort of Sims game.
Yeah.
Like, let's all pretend to have hunter pets and that they're actually alive and not computer ones and zeros.
Yeah.
But that only exists. The power of Rexxar in the game right now, and mainly Misha, can only be as powerful as he is because the AI is kind of wonky, right? I mean, let's think of Anubarak, right? We had the Beatles. He wasn't that great of a hero on release. He was pretty good. Like, that many stuns on one dude, it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But as soon as we increased that Beetle AI, his damage went through the roof, phenomenal. Absolutely insane. And then they had to lower the speed of the Beetles and back down on that damage.
Right.
So if people think that Blizzard is going to listen to this feedback coming at them about Misha being strange in her AI controls, and that they're just going to give you Misha in her current form, completely controllable like another Lost Vikings, you're completely wrong, because their damage is incredible together. Rexxar does 45 damage per auto attack, and Misha does 28 per auto attack, and both those attack at basically a second, a little less than a second each.
Okay.
Now, ETC, another warrior, and he is labeled a warrior here, does 45 damage and auto attack once per second. There's no Misha doing 28 a second. Raynor does 40 a second. That's 5 less than Rhaegar does. Sonya also does 40 auto attack. See what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of damage.
You're getting at not a warrior.
Right. I think he should have been a specialist.
Yeah, I think that's really what, for me anyway, what this boils down to. I think they accomplished something really interesting with Rexar. He absolutely 100% feels like a Beastmaster hunter, except he's throwing axes instead of using a crossbow or a gun or whatever. But all that aside, if you said to me, "Hey, what should a Beastmaster hunter play like in Heroes of the Storm?" This is exactly how it would play. I just don't think it feels like a warrior, and it just seems strange in a world where Johanna's and Leorix are completely dominating. You inject another warrior into the game that I don't think is going to compete. Not in that way. So I'm just I don't know. I'm confused by their categories.
Sure. When you get down to the health pools, absolutely a warrior. Divided among two people. Because when you're level 20, you are sitting at about the health of a fully spec'd Diablo, which is about as much darn health as you can get on a hero in this game. That is, great for countering something like Zeratul, perhaps. Perhaps we don't really know yet, because this hero is very new. But something like Giant Killer, when your health pool is divided in two, that's kind of a counter in that case. And that's something a lot of warriors are having trouble with it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, do you think, Kyle, being as positive on this discussion as you have been, do you think he's going to work as an actual tank?
As a solo tank, I don't think so, because naturally, everyone over time, if they haven't figured it out already, is just going to say, let's kill Rexar in the back. Let's ignore this bear wailing on my face for pretty good damage and get the guy who, if I kill him, also kills Misha. Right.
And Rexar isn't particularly hard to kill. He doesn't have all that of impressive of a health pool.
Nope. He has no damage mitigation of his own. He has no heal spell of his own, even, something along the lines of a heal over time or 25% reduced damage while Misha's charging or anything like that. There is nothing you can do to Rexar to make him actually ignore damage, negate damage.
Yeah.
Outside of feign death.
Yeah. And I guess to kind of I guess if I can try and put a period on my comments on Rexar, I think the reason he doesn't work as a tank, for the biggest reason I think is Misha is the tank, not Rexar, and you don't have any great deal of control over the positioning of Misha, and positioning is key to being a good tank, including body blocks. And yes, while technically Misha can body block, you have no control over how she body blocks. You might be able to finagle her in front of somebody, but the second they go to strafe, Misha's just going to AI wander around.
Exactly. So a lot of the angst of the community could have been avoided completely if this character came out as a specialist. I don't play shoots and ladders and go, why the heck am I going down to shoot? Because I rolled a 3. Like, it's just not my style. When I got a hold of Rexar, I was excited. I loved everything about it. I thought all these situations that I could use him in and not what I wanted him to be.
Yeah. And you, along with the chat room, have told me that apparently he is just sick at taking merc camps, which again just feels like a specialist. More, if I went into the mindset being like, oh, cool, it's like a high damage kind of utility character, I'd have been like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do this. Misha's charge is super great. It's like ETC's power slide without taking as much of a risk. But again, I don't feel like it fills that warrior slot.
Right. I mean, I soloed boss at level 12. And I feel like I could have done it well before that, particularly once I got the level 7 Blood of the Rhino talent. That just makes Misha nigh unkillable by any NPC opponents. And really, for the most part, nigh unkillable anyway.
That's insane, by the way.
Yeah. You can just go solo. It's kind of a Lost Viking situation, right? I'm going to soak all the lanes, and you guys stay as a group of 4. So I was in a game. It was Blackheart's Bay. And I just snuck right up. The top lane was pushed out far enough, and I just went in there and soloed the boss. No big deal. Easy. And no threat. Like, there was nothing even close to going wrong while I was in there. Then last night, I played a Curse Hollow and informed my team to keep them busy. And I soloed 2 bosses over the course of that game.
Damn.
So, yeah, over time, this isn't going to happen, right? I mean, it's going to be the where the heck is Gazlo situation. And everyone's going to realize what's going on. He took Robo-Goblin. Yeah, you can see their spec. Where's Gazlo? Of course he's taking camps by himself. And so people aren't going to let Rexar get away with this forever. So it's not exactly a viable strategy.
Yeah. Are you going to play Rexar in our after-show games tonight?
Of course.
Yes! Awesome! I want to see that, which of course means we'll probably lose. Garrett's throwing shade. Throwing all the shade. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, the mechanics of Rexar and Misha are interesting, and A8085 on Reddit posted a really good breakdown of how these mechanics function. And the big thing for me, without just reading the whole damn list, that I thought was really interesting was that there is a range between Rexar and Misha that you have to keep in mind and you have to play around, because if you extend this range, Misha's just going to snap back to you and come back and stop attacking. So they have to stay together within a very specific range. There's nothing written anywhere about what the actual range is, but it's roughly half of a screen. And if you extend that range, Misha's going to come back to you. She's going to stop attacking or whatever else it is that she is doing, and she's going to just return to Rexar.
Right. It's the same exact range as XP gathering is. So if Misha is further than you could gather XP off of her, she's going to get back to you. Yeah. Makes sense. And this is really elegant. You may not think it, because she suddenly books off, does some weird pathing through everything because she has body block physicalness. She's not incorporeal like lane minions or anything like that. But when you look at Lone Druid, I'm sorry to keep bringing him up over the past for people who haven't played Dota, but look at him. You know, it's a cool character. You control the bear and the druid independently. When that bear gets too far away and performs any action, it teleports back to the druid. It makes no sense in a lore perspective. It's a druid. Why is the bear teleporting? No.
You just described Dota.
Right. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Why is anything this way? Well, I don't know.
Well, you see, a glitch happened 7 years ago, and we decided to keep it, and it's a major mechanic now. Dota done.
Yeah, I don't... See, that's another thing. That kind of, I wish you could just tell Misha to attack something, and she would just keep attacking until you called her back. Behave like Rainer's Banshees. That's how I expected Misha to kind of behave. I didn't go into this thinking, oh, they'll let us micro both, because that would be too awesome. And I just had a feeling that there was going to be some weird monkey wrench thrown into this situation. But it's like there's 3 monkey wrenches thrown into this situation.
Right. Again, I love it because it's so pet. It's so I'm not really in control of this. It's its own thing. But, you know, think about this bear actually has the ability to pick up coins, orbs, and all sorts of things like that. It can pick up gems and everything else. There's several glitches kind of all throughout the game right now. Like if Misha's close enough to a lane, but you're not, and someone grabs an orb and the orb flies at Misha, it doesn't actually register. There's tons of things like that with Misha right now. But, you know, you could send Misha by herself down to get one of the chests while you get another one. You could use her to, you know, scout lanes and backwoods that you wouldn't be able to go in there. So they made a choice, and they made it so that Misha is permanently leashed at this distance.
Well, I'm not even asking for like a move to command. I'm just saying if she has a target, she should be able to go and attack that target.
Well, it's kind of an elegant system, actually. So when you attack something as Rexar, actually like physically right-click on it, you put a little sort of hunter's mark on that target, and that is now Misha's target. And you can then use a move all you want as Rexar to stutter step, to move around, to relocate, to attack something else. That direct click is where Misha's going to continue to attack. If you A move together, she will stop attacking every time you move. She will stutter step with you, and it's gross. You don't want to use it.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. I don't find that as elegant. I find it as extremely clunky. Because if again, it's like, why can't I just give Misha a target and Rexar a target? It's Misha takes precedence, which is super weird. If I want to focus something else as Rexar, I have to do this weird kind of dance until he randomly attacks the thing I want him to be attacking. It just seems really strange, and I don't understand why. There's no precision to it whatsoever.
It's the way the trait works. The trait is not Misha attack this. It's not Misha, move here. It is come Misha, or stand next to me, or attack my target. And it's kind of a stance, much like warriors in World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
It's either on or it's off.
Yeah, which is strange, and that's where it doesn't feel like World of Warcraft, because I could tell my pet to attack whatever the hell I want. I can attack whatever the hell I want.
Right. Well, nowadays, pets in World of Warcraft have definitely become specialty buffs with lots of character. And they're basically dots, and you send them out, and you don't have to worry about them. They can stand in all the poop they want. They have resistances all day and night.
Yeah, again, fuels my fire. It's like, well, if you're gonna have this massive lack of control of Misha, I don't know, she should take less damage from structures or something. But she gets whacked into the dirt just as fast as everyone else.
But she does only count as a fourth of a hero when she dies.
That is a very good point. Rexxar counts as 3/4 unless you kill Rexxar while Misha is up, because Misha dies if Rexxar dies, so then it's just a full kill.
And it's a very short cooldown to revive her.
Yeah, I don't even have it handy. Do you?
It is, I'm doing this from memory here, 11 seconds plus 1 second for every level you have.
Okay.
So even at level 20, it comes back quick.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. All right. So cool. So, all right. Well, we have not come to an agreement here. I like that. An agreement. Agreement is technically a word, but agreement is more correct. Whatever. Anyways.
I am fully prepared to agree with you, but I am afraid of what's going to happen to the character because it will get nerfed. At least that's my assumption. I think with the current power of the hero as it is right now, which, with spec'd correctly, is pretty darn incredible as a specialist, I don't want things to change.
So you would just like the moniker recategorized for Rexxar?
Perhaps. Just for, sanity of everyone trying to debate what kind of team comps they should do. Because right now, maybe the off-tank. It's a great... The charge is an amazing ability, really. I mean, we said it. It's ETC's power slide. It's a 1.25 second stun. Deals quite a bit of damage in a line. When she gets to the far side, she is body blocking with her big bear butt. Men pet, just incredible damage. Spirit swoop, it's a little underwhelming. But
the bird that flies out in a straight line,
right, and does a 30% slow. 30% though, not too bad for a slow untalented. But man, level 7 Bird of Prey, increased Spirit Swoop's damage by 300% to non-heroic enemies. Holy crap. That is a specialist talent, and it is good.
You love clearing lanes.
Oh, dude, when the catapults were in my lane, one shot everything, because it's always in a perfect line.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 damage by the time the catapult showed up.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. Well, that's interesting. So we finally, you finally joined my camp of you now have a hero that you're going to campaign for until you're blue in the face to have their category changed.
Sure. Yes.
Cool. All right.
That's fine by me.
This is why we're friends. Let's move on from Rexxar, shall we?
Sure.
Let's talk about the silence penalty, which is funny. I feel like this is going to come into play with a lot of people playing Rexxar this week. There's a new penalty in town for less than friendly players. If you are reported multiple times for spam or abusive chat, you may receive a silence penalty. I say may because in Blizzard's verbiage, they said after review, you may receive a silence penalty. So I don't know what council of Blizzard demigods will be stamping you douche or not.
Well, I've seen the posts, and they do include at least one example of your douchebaggery.
Nice. That's great.
It's not very detailed. It'll most likely be whatever sentence whoever's reviewing these got fed up with you with. So sometimes it's like, screw you. And it's like, well, that is not the worst thing that person said after I reported them. But they just read, X number of chat logs, and then on that particular statement, they said, I give up, copy, paste, and report done.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is, I'm all for this. I've seen people cherry pick things that they don't like about it and things they do like about it. But honestly, I like everything about this. When you are silenced, you can't use allied chat in game. You can't chat in Hero League draft lobbies. You can't chat in general chat. You can't chat in custom chat. And you can't send whispers to non-friends. Cool. I don't like mean people.
But you can still do quite a bit.
Yeah, you can still use party chat with invited players. You can still create, suggest, and request to join parties. You can still send and receive friend requests. You can send whispers to friends. You can reply to whispers from non-friends. So if a non-friend sends you the first whisper, you can talk back. And you can still ping. What was that?
That's my favorite one, is the guys, just waiting, and someone's finally going to be like, GG, you suck. And he's like, oh, crack the knuckles.
Just crack the knuckles like, finally!
You just opened the can.
Oh, jeez.
Man, why were you talking all game, noob? It's, well, you wonder why? Because expletive.
Because your mother makes bad cheese. I don't know. I was trying to think of the most, like...
That's a nice PC insult.
Yeah. It's the most PC insult I could think of. Everybody, when you get mad at someone now, please, let's make this a thing. Tell them their mother makes bad cheese.
It cuts to the core.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Someone in chat is saying they're still concerned about ping spams, but there's already a restriction on that.
Yeah,
if
you can
start
only ping
pinging
4 times in rapid succession, I believe.
Yeah, 4 times, and then you're limited for a couple seconds, and it grows exponentially as well.
Yeah, because I'm guilty of this. Although usually, in my defense, it means the zero tool is about to end you.
That's a decent reason to panic.
So it's because I am dead, I see that blur, and you don't.
But my favorite thing about this whole thing is the exponential growth of your silence.
Yes, it's so cool. So the first time a player is silenced, their chat will be restricted for 24 hours. However, this is the kicker. The duration doubles for each silence penalty you receive after the first one. And the coup de grace? There isn't a maximum, Kyle. If you are Lord of the Douches, you're going to be King of Lonely Mountain because you're going to be silenced for a very long time.
Yep, at 6 reports, you will be at 32 days. At 10 reports, you will be at 1.4 years. And at 13 reports, you will be at 11 years.
Not reports, silences.
Right.
So like one report doesn't equal a silence. Okay, you're going to have to be reported, I'm assuming, multiple times. Say some pretty awful things, and then you're going to be slapped with a silence.
Right, for being loud and obnoxious.
Right. For bringing down the game for everyone else.
Right.
Which, great. Awesome. Bring it on. Now, as awesome as this is, I would still really like a commendation feature.
Sure.
Because deterrences can only go so far. I feel like if you give people an incentive to be nice and to be helpful and to try and lead and try and play as a team, that'll go even farther. And it's in other games, and I love it.
Right, or just a report or a little message when we log in that says someone you reported has been silenced. So you just get a little, tip of the hat.
That'd be interesting too. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Although I don't need that. I don't think I need that as much as I would like a commendation feature.
Right.
Oh, I didn't tell this story yet. Quick sidebar. So right before I left for Dragon Con was when I went on a really bad Hero League losing streak. And one of those games, and I wish I had the person's name. I don't have it. But one of those games, we're losing. We have a really good rally. We come back. We tie up the XP gap. And then we start to lose again. But the entire time, our tank, our Johanna, is just... I thought maybe this person was role-playing Johanna because it was just, we can do this. Let's get together and take the fight to them. It doesn't matter. Good job, guys. Good job there. Oh, that was close. We can pull it together. And even as we're losing, the Johanna's just like, I want everyone to know you did good. You did good here. This is a good loss. So after the game, I whispered this Johanna and I said, "Hey, just so you know, I really appreciate the positivity. There's not enough of this going around." And this Johanna, whose name is eluding me at this time, goes, "Hey, you're not Garrett from Into the Nexus, are you?"
Oh, that's great.
And I'm like, "Yes, our listeners aren't jerks." Oh, yeah, I was so excited. I was so not, and that's not let Garrett tell the story where he got recognized in game. That's Garrett's super stoked that listeners of Into the Nexus are really nice people. So that was
awesome.
cool. I had a little moment. I can't believe I haven't told you this story yet. We haven't talked because you've been doing weddings and I've been doing cons. But anyways, that was really cool.
Truly an Akarat champion.
Yes, the champion of Akarat. There were a couple patch changes with Rexar, but not a lot. The additional party size rule for Hero League went live, so you can now only queue in Hero League either by yourself or with one friend. I mean, I guess
Team
if
League's
you
alive now.
What was that?
Team League's alive now.
Yeah,
actually.
it is.
All those naysayers that said, yeah, we're just going to go to quick match and ruin all the pub stops, they're now playing Team League exactly like Blizzard wanted them to. So
good. This is good. I think this is a really good change. I'm still kind of in your camp. I wouldn't mind a purely solo league, but that might divide things too much. I like the idea that you and I can jump in Hero League and go have a good time. If, of course, you'll have me, Kyle, if you're done sitting in your tower now that you've reached rank 1.
All right, I'll come down and we can play together.
Oh, wonderful. I appreciate it. I promise to play heroes I'm good at.
We'll put you on Zagara. Sounds good.
Zagara and Rainer. I'm at the point I think I'm ready to Hero League as Rainer.
Nice.
After I got the Kyle Ferguson blessing. Anyways, so that's live. And then Kael'thas is the only hero who got any changes in this small patch. His Chain Bomb talent for Living Bomb. The explosion now only applies Living Bomb to the 3 closest enemies that are not already under its effects, and this prefers heroes. So no more infinite amount of spreading, no more guaranteed one-shots on someone who unfortunately had to retreat through an entire group of creeps.
It was kind of a big deal. I'm glad they fixed it now. Kael'thas is still going to get picked all the time. This hasn't really nerfed his Living Bomb hopes or dreams in the least, and in fact, Misha and Rexar kind of make Living Bomb even better. And it is real sad. If there's one reason why I would like to control Misha, it's so when I call her back, she doesn't come running at me with a beautiful Living Bomb for me.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem. So, chat room saying Abathur had a change in this patch?
Oh, really? Okay, so that must have been added after the fact. Well, we can put this little link here.
I was about to say, what was the Abathur change? Because I'm looking at the patch notes right now, and it says Heroes, Kael'thas.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, it was a bug fix. That's different, guys. Abathur's toxic nests will no longer provide larger than intended areas of vision.
Oh, well, that's a nerf right there.
It's a bug fix. It's a bug. And also, it's a bug. Get it?
They fixed it.
Yeah.
Bug fixed.
I guess he's technically more like a slug, but he's got spindly arms.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, Eternal Conflict is over with, like, no fanfare.
No.
None whatsoever. It's just gone. I got my Treasure Goblin quest done the day before.
I had it done a bit earlier than that, but yeah, for it to just kind of be like, and it's over. And also, saddest part, outside of just all the theming that was going on, no more free 100 gold per day.
Yeah, that makes me sad. I'm going to miss it. You know what I'm going to miss more than anything? Don't guess.
Oh, okay. Was I supposed? Duck Hunt. It's still there in the background.
No, I know Duck Hunt is still there. And no, I'm not going to miss Duck Hunt because I can't kill the duck past stage 3. It's Decker Kane at the beginning of every battleground, at least every battleground that there's a treasure goblin. I'm going to miss that like crazy. I wish they would at least still do it on the Diablo maps. Have the treasure goblin. I don't care. I don't care if I get gold or not. I like that little bit of flavor.
Yeah, it's a shame they added so many different voiceovers for him. And I'm sure they had to call up the voice actor to make those additional ones.
Nice.
For, 2 weeks? And then it's over?
It was way longer than 2 weeks.
When they did the reload of it, I think they only added that I guess that was Monk, wasn't it? So, yeah, it was longer than that. 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
I mean, Decker's been in there since Eternal Conflict started. What are you talking about?
No, but it wasn't until the Monk patch that they went through and added additional voiceover, so you didn't hear the same, oh, hello,
every time. Gotcha. My favorite was the stay a while and kill that treasure goblin.
Exactly, and then the ones that were like, oh, you've been here before, and kind of played with the fact that you're playing too many games every day.
Well, that's good.
So we have no special events anywhere on the horizon, and certainly not this year.
Really?
Yeah, they have said that not this year will there be any sort of StarCraft event. In fact, it doesn't look like with the release of Legacy of the Void, which we're going to find out when that's coming out this Sunday, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Along with getting to see the opening cinematic at their announcement of an announcement. But they said there's not going to be a StarCraft event for that launch.
Nobody does announcements of announcements like Blizzard.
It's true.
It's good. It's good. While we're on the subject of Diablo-themed stuff in Heroes of the Storm, Infernal Shrines has some bugs. The Heroes developer, who we wish was a permanent ITN fixture, Kent Eric, was recently on Eyes of the Storm, and he talked about 2 very serious Infernal Shrines bugs. He said that they are going to be fixed in the near future, but those bugs are that the Punisher is currently doing way more damage to buildings than intended. So that explains why it feels rather snowbally.
Fair enough.
And the skeletons, which are the minions from the shrines, I've been calling them demons. They are indeed skeletons. They're not scaling at all. Not whatsoever. They don't scale in health. So they're currently dying pretty much instantly after you hit a certain level.
Yeah, in fact, the only thing that's allowing you to get back in there right now and get your own skeletons, if someone already controls the point, is the fact that they take a little bit to respawn. Otherwise, there is nothing. And I'm hoping with this health scaling, they also increase their damage. Because if you're in there by yourself as a lone auto attacker or something, I think those things should beat you up a little bit, much like Sky Temple.
I agree.
Kick your butt.
I agree. It shouldn't be a good thing that you're just alone at the shrines.
Right.
There should be some kind of danger there.
Well, in Diablo, you get bored. You up the difficulty, right? If nothing's challenging or hitting you.
I like that. That'd be great if you're sitting there alone, and at first, the first few, it's kind of low, and then you just see like Torment 1, Torment 2 crank up, and they get increasingly harder. That'd be so good. Or the announcer as you level up. Now the skeletons are Torment level 1. I don't know why he sounds like he's announcing Dragon Ball Z, but yeah.
Too much Dragon Ball Z for you, that's why.
Yeah. Dude, that show is keeping me sane during all this wedding prep, I have to say. And I'm almost done with it, which is sad. But anyways. There was also a couple non-Infernal Shrines related stuff that was mentioned on Eyes on the Storm, which I'm really excited about. Ken Eric said that the medic is present in almost every single internal testing match. So she's apparently a very strong solo healer, which just makes me so excited. I always kind of gravitate to support first, and the monk's not really my bag. If nothing else, probably because I just suck with him. But I'm looking forward to having a normal, like, this makes sense to me ranged healer that hopefully is very strong, and I cannot wait to turn into a medevac and cloud drop my enemies.
Well, I mean, and let's be honest here, you came from World of Warcraft, where I know you did a little bit of healing for a bit, aside from tanking. So your mindset's very twitchy, and you want to be Uther, maybe a little bit far back, run and do a cool stun perhaps, but for the most part, hovering and making sure everyone's okay and ready to unleash should something bad happen, whereas the monk is basically go nuts until it goes wrong.
Yes. I never feel in control of the monk.
Yeah.
Like, I never feel like I'm the master of my domain, whereas, like you said, Uther, Brightwing, I can do my healer dance. I feel like the conductor. Like, all right, go minions, do what you do. I will give you the gasoline.
Now, Medic looks very cool. I'm very excited to see how her sort of TF2 Dr. Laser kind of works as her primary heal.
Yeah. I'm looking interested. Yeah, very interested in that. Ken Eric also mentioned that Artanis is a quintessential zealot, so it looks like we are getting what we asked for, Kyle.
Right? I want to see charge. I want to see lots of Zuzus, and well, that's basically it. I want shields, right? There's got to be some sort of shield ability.
Right. And also, they recently changed a hero internally from a warrior into a specialist. I'm assuming it's Rexar, because that's all I can think of.
That'd be pretty funny. They put him out, and then they're like, internally, completely different. If I had to take a guess, it's Stitches, though.
Stitches? Okay. See, I still think Stitches should be... I think Stitches should be a warrior. I think you just need to give him a little health back. I don't know.
It's weird for us coming from, alpha and beta days when there was the Stitches that reigned supreme and Devour was the self-healing madness that we knew of. But right now, I mean, Stitches is supporting Mercenary Lord at level 4. And if they're going to try to make him, more hooky, as they've said, he might not stand as a warrior anymore.
I guess I could see that. I'd be okay with that. It's just that after our whole long discussion today, I'm just like, well, it just seems like Rexar is the obvious, but that would be hilarious. I sincerely doubt that because it seems too soon, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Now, Kyle, it is time for this week's edition of Dustin Browder Tweets. Destructible Rocks.
That face he makes. I'll do it. But didn't translate for the radio cloud, sorry. You know the face, right?
Yeah. When asked, are you guys considering adding drafting in Quick Match in order to play with teams that makes more sense? Rexar Rocks, by the way, Dustin Browder said, I don't think we will add draft to Quick Match, but we would like to talk about unranked draft. What do you think? Well, Kyle, what do we think?
Sure, do it. Why not?
Yeah, spring it.
I wouldn't mind, actually, if that was another unlockable. That'd be very cool, right?
It's a safer place to learn the draft process, a safer place to learn how to create a team that functions.
Right, exactly. And it's such an important part of getting into Heroes League. And for the most part, you're going to find on lower levels that everyone has one hero, and if they miss that one, they are going to play awfully. Yeah. And if we can kind of work that out, maybe you get to level 20, and now you've unlocked drafting in an unranked mode. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Account level, of course.
Yeah. I'm so happy you included this one.
Well, I had to say who it's from, right?
Yeah. So Idra, our good old friend from the StarCraft days, Idra, and this is in reference to, this was actually a back and forth, which I don't have a direct link to, but this was in reference to talking about the inability to micro Misha. Idra said that, the way Misha's currently built is definitely more intuitive and casual friendly than letting people control summons. And that was, and then he went on to say, by the way, I was being sarcastic, it's god awful. To which Dustin Browder replied, I understood. It's not about casual versus hardcore. It's about that specific character. Future characters will have different rules.
So this makes me think that they're rather happy with how Misha controls. I'm not saying, let's not change anything. Sure, let's clean it up in Uberak style, right? Fix those beetles. But I like the personality. And I think Dustin Browder does too. And I want to know how painful it was for him to type that smiley face in that. Because you could just see it through the grit of his teeth. Damn, Idra, I thought you were done. I thought we got rid of you in StarCraft.
I thought we were done. I thought we were done with this stuff, Idra. Come on. Can't we just be friends? Can't we just move on? And also, when asked if there was any ETA on when quick match rules will be changed so we don't have to suffer through Tassadar, Tyrande versus full healer matches anymore, I think my brain tweeted this while I was sleeping. And Dustin Browder says, we are looking at altering their talents to make them stronger solo supports and not looking at quick match changes for them. So this is going back on stuff we've heard in the past where they were talking about changing their category.
Right. They're thinking of making these two full-on solo healers, which is a bizarre concept when we think about all the sort of half-C warriors we're currently dealing with at the moment. Are those going to be increased in survivability to be a solo sort of thing? Their damage maybe cut down? Sonya suddenly going to become some sort of solo tank ability? But either way, I don't know what you do. You got to have healing, right? You got to do something to shields to make Tassadar actually give health.
Yeah, because damage mitigation isn't enough in this game. You have to have some type of... You have to have a heal. And the more we talk about this, we've talked a lot about categories today, and I think we mentioned it last episode as well. I really think we need to have a new category system where we are able to combine the categories in one way, shape, or form and say and do it in a specific order. Because honestly, if I were to say, I'd be like Tassadar. He is a specialist first and a healer second. Or a support second. Yes, he can help keep you alive, but he can't do it by himself. He shouldn't be the only one in there tasked with keeping everyone alive. So,
right, exactly.
So I'd love to see something like that, because I'd love to see Rexar. Same thing. I'd love to see Rexar marked as a specialist warrior, because damn, he's good at taking merc camps. He can also soak some hits, but he probably shouldn't be your main tank.
Right, and I would, say Tyrande.
Yeah, I like that. You know, she's actually Tyrande. I've softened on Tyrande being labeled as a support ever since they made the changes to her heals. She is a much stronger healer. She still pales in comparison to someone like Uther, but you can make it work if you have to. So I don't know. I'd like to see combining. I'd like to see joint categorization. It'd also make getting daily quests done a lot, I think, more fun. It'd be nice if it was just you had a bigger stable of heroes to pull from. It'd be even better for the free-to-play crowd that have less heroes. I really would like to see that. So,
my problem with making these supports solo supports is, what do you do to their heroic abilities? I mean, we could talk about, you just add regen in the background of the shield. If it doesn't go out, it heals up to that same amount. Or when it's end, it heals the person up to where the shield would have put them, something like that. But if you think about our core healers at the moment, they're kind of all dancing around the same idea. You have Divine Shield, makes someone invincible for a short amount of time. You have, Ancestral Healing, which takes a few seconds, but then does a big heal. And then you have, Divine Palm that... But if they die, that then get now we give Tassadar, if they live for 5 seconds, then they get a big hit. You start to get all the same abilities, just you relabel how they're worded out.
Yeah.
And I'd like to avoid that.
No, I agree. You shouldn't have homogenization. That's not something I think anyone is asking for. But I think, and that's obviously, that's the challenge, right? Right. How do you make Tassadar a honest-to-God healer without just giving him an Uther heal or a Tyrande heal? Or how do you make a heal different?
And then there's that step along the way, too, when these wonderful, wonderful ideas that, come out of a mind like Ken Eric then have to go to a computer and be programmed inside. And we don't even know what kind of problems happen there and what cool abilities might have been subject to some of these heroes that just don't work mechanically inside the game.
Yeah.
So that's my little, asterisk at the bottom of my armchair game design.
Oh, yeah. I don't think either of us are sitting here thinking that a lot of this stuff is particularly easy. Again, I feel like changing categories around should be super freaking easy. But maybe, enabling some type of multi-categorization system would be harder than we think. We don't know how it's coded, how hard it is to make a change like that.
It's important to note that this is really the first MOBA that has had categories in a World of Warcraft sense. I mean, you can have durable characters in other MOBAs. You can have sort of tanks. But if, for some reason, those tanks get all the kills, they become carries because they have all these items and things that augment them. In fact, when you're dealing with some MOBAs, sometimes no one on the team has a heal. It's just whoever you decide among you builds the healing item. So it's not like you can just look at other games and say, oh, we'll fix it, because tanking, solo supporting, it doesn't exist outside of Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
Also, I went over and looked at some of the win rates for League of Legends and Dota this past week. We're doing all right over here. I've seen their Hot Slogs versions, and they have guys in the 32s and dudes up in the 69s for win rates.
Wow.
All right.
No, I mean, I wasn't really arguing the opposite. I think the game's in a pretty balanced state. There's certain things that, I'd like to see more viable warriors. I'm a little bored with I'm cherry picking. I'm bored with the 2 warrior meta.
Sure, and that's here in America.
Yeah,
we're talking about all this. I'm sure I did that whole episode about Johanna and Leoric, and people in the EU, people on the Asian servers. They're just like, what the heck are they talking about? Get this Arthas out of my face.
Yeah, absolutely. Arthas for president. Before we move into this week's strategy, I want to thank our patrons. Well, we want to thank our patrons, not just me. It's not all about me. We want to thank our patrons, all 245 of you, over at patreon.com/ITN, helping this show happen week in and week out. Thank you guys so very, very much. We reached a new milestone, Kyle.
We did.
We're going to start doing monthly ITN call-in episodes. Now, it was reached this month, so we'll probably kick it off next month. And if I had to guess, I think Friday, September 9th is going to be it, but I will get back to all of you on whether that date will or will not work, but I'm pretty sure it will.
Pencil me in.
Yeah. Well, there'll be a post up on the Patreon with the Skype account that you can add, and you can be making calls to once once we figure out exactly when and where we'll be doing it. It will be streamed on twitch.tv/amovetv like everything else, but patrons, you'll be able to call in and chat with us, talk Heroes of the Storm. I'm really much looking forward to it. This is something we've been doing for a while over on the Angry Chicken, and I look forward to it every month. We have such a good time because we get to kind of let our hair down and just be like, I didn't really want to write show notes. Hey, listeners, just fire topics at us. Fire topics. It doesn't matter if they're Hearthstone related or not. Favorite sandwich? Let me tell you about a place called Quiznos. But yeah, so thank you guys very much for the support. We really do appreciate it. This week we wanted to thank Alexander M.R., Jim J., Joshua M., Ray V. I hope that's Ray Vaughn, because man, you play some sick guitar, and you're also not supposed to be alive, and that would be really cool. And Lance B. Thank you guys very much for supporting the show, and we'll talk to you soon. Now, let's get into some strategies.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
Yeah, no clue what that means.
Today we're doing mailbag quick fire strategies because we have a lot of email and we need to blow through it. Also, a lot of it is very specifically asking how to play certain things or how to react to certain things. So if you would like to email us, you can do so at itncast@gmail.com. And our first, these will probably end up not being as quick fire as we think they're going to be. Our first quick fire strategy.
We challenge ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Keep under
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Let's go. You know, I'm gonna do this legit, man. I'm going to take probably 3 minutes to bring up a timer and set it to 3 minutes. All right. Our first email comes from Mr. Fibble, who says, I am really bad with Divine Palm, often casting too early or too late, so it has absolutely no effect. Are there any tips you can give me to help me get better at this skill? Anything I can look out for to know when to cast it and on who? 3 minutes, go.
All right. So this is a very difficult conversation. And so let's go ahead and dodge the entire thing by saying you probably are awful at it, as am I. You should take 7-sided strike and do a different build.
I disagree. I think this, like a lot of similar abilities, Ancestral Healing, Divine Shield, I think you should be more liberal with it than you think you should be and work it back from there. Constantly cast it sooner than you want because you never want to cast it too late. Because look on the worst side of this. If you cast it too early, there's a chance you might just be able to get off your heal and save their skin. If you cast it too late, they're dead. They're just straight up dead, and there's absolutely nothing you can do. So,
not only that, but no one saw the ability. Everyone sees that it's on cooldown, and you're about to get some grief for being indecisive. And I've been there. And I've had the grief thrown at me on Uther more than Monk because I don't play Monk as often. But it can be tough. You're like, ooh, you're just saving it for that right moment. You're going to save that guy. And whoops, okay, next guy. I'm ready for him. And nope, he's dead. I'll use it on myself. I'll get out. And everyone's pissed at you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's, I don't know. That's just kind of my catch-all advice that I give to people who are trying to learn supports that have these kind of life-saving heroic abilities. Just be more liberal with it. I'd rather it be on cooldown and die than to die and it be off cooldown. And don't be afraid to use it on yourself if you have to. Keep yourself alive. But after a while, it just kind of it really comes down to your awareness. You have to be looking at your 4 other teammates, seeing who is getting focused down, and also take things into account like what hero are they playing? Is it the tank? Well, that last 25% of their health bar is going to go away a lot slower than Jaina's. Jaina's probably going to need it before your tank, but it depends very much on the situation. Look at positioning. Try and anticipate it. If you're like, you basically, as a support, your job is to make up for other people's mistakes when you have abilities like that. So if you see somebody, and this is the thing that incites rage in me more than anything else, and I try not to let it happen, but when I see someone overextending or positioning themselves wrong, and I can see what's about to happen to them, that's when you want to pop something like Divine Palm.
Now, here's my final bit of advice on that, because we're running out of time here. Area effects. That is the best time to cast this on, and just be really liberal with. It lasts, what? 3 seconds? That's a long time. And with area effects, with living bombs going all around a butcher, or whoever it is that happens to be in the poo, it's gonna work out for you, even if you cast it on half health. But remember, they're not going to attack them if it's really obvious, so it's more of an escape tool in those situations.
All right, I think that's a good stopping point for that. And we ended with 2 seconds to spare.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, so are we starting the clock after we finish the email?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Because they're varying length, so it's unfair to everyone who wrote in. Robert writes in, and he said, Dragonshire, how do I bring my win rate up more? Other than just win more. I used to think I was okay at this map, but in Hero Leagues, I was down to a 10% win rate. I'm up to a 20% win rate. I find myself running up and down a lot. We end up getting so far behind in levels, and they just wipe us off the map and get the dragon. Can you guys offer some tips? Timer on.
Cool. So, first of all, this is an older email. He included his hot logs. Congratulations, Rob, on fixing your map there. You've done great. You got yourself up to 50% again. But
so we're not helping him. I feel terrible.
No, we're helping other people right now because people are awful at Dragonshire right now. And they used to be the best at it because we were coming from other MOBAs where the laning phase was extremely important, and it was very common to have solo mid and then 2 on each side. But now as we become accustomed to these more alarm bell sort of maps like Sky Temple, Cursed Hollow, look at Cursed Hollow win rates. Usually for most players who've been playing a long time now, Cursed Hollow is their highest because it's a very simple map. There's only ever one objective to go to, and they group up easily. Sky Temple, a lot of people had trouble with because sometimes there'd be 2 objectives. Then they learned as a group to talk it out and go to one objective together. And if there is only one and they don't have it, they do something else on the map. So divided constantly in half on Dragonshire for the whole early and mid game, most people are having a ton of problem with it.
Yeah. And this is where we were talking about that as well, because Dragonshire is one of my worst win rates at the moment. And you were saying that I should be taking my hero picks into consideration. And you were like, well, you're picking Zeratul here a lot. And that's because, well, I'm just like, well, I can probably kill the most people as Zeratul, and this is a map where I need to kill people. And you were like, well, no, if you really believe what you're saying, Garrett, and you think you can take Raynor into Hero League, this is the map you should be picking Raynor on.
Right, because he's a dueler.
Right, and I'm not telling everybody go pick Raynor. I'm saying consider your hero picks and maybe treat Dragonshire differently than everything else, because you're not going to have the same level of support that you do on other battlegrounds where your team is always together for team fights. You're going to have to do 2-on-2 team fights, and you're going to have to look out for roamers that come in to make it 3 versus 2. You're going to have to be a little more self-sufficient. You're going to have to be a better fighter. You're going to have to not depend on the support because he may not be in your lane. So,
well, and Zeratul seems like a great choice because the map is so small. But we've all been in that insane situation where we're Zeratul trying to auto-attack a damn Rhaegar who is just slapping us in the face with the claw and holding the point for years at a time.
Yeah.
When instead what you need is that heavy dueler, the Raynor, maybe even like a Zagar or something, Gazlo, something that holds points well. But Raynor's the best choice in my opinion because he transitions into the late game on Dragonshire really well, which is roaming as a full party, taking the bottom, getting kills, then heading around the top, or vice versa. But there is, at about the 15-minute mark, at about the 3rd dragon, you need to completely shift your way you're thinking and start playing like a team and taking objectives one at a time, just like you would on another map.
I think we can end it there. Our third,
9 seconds to spare.
Yeah. Our third and final quick fire strategy comes to us from the Master DS. Hey, Master DS, how you doing? He says, so I was doing by very last, I'm assuming that was my, let's see, that's 1 key away. I'm going to say he said, I was doing my very last placement match in Hero League, and wouldn't you know it, a teammate first picked Stitches. Disbeliefs and sighs flooded the draft chat. Stitches, come on, trash hero. So keep this salty commentary up throughout the entire game to when we lose horribly and part ways as you do. What do you think the proper reaction to a first pick Stitches is? Do you try to draft around the Stitches to try to make him work? Do you try to determine if the Stitches player knows what they're doing? Do you inform the Stitches player about how bad the meta is for Stitches right now and that he should not be picked? Do you just wait and see what happens? Timer on. I would always err on the side of complaining about it doesn't really do a whole lot of good after they've been selected.
No.
After that, though, I'm at a bit of a loss because I haven't had to deal with the first pick Stitches. I don't think ever. First pick Abathurs, yes, and they drive me bananas. But first pick Stitches, that's an alien environment for me.
So Hotslogs, among its many other wonderful tools, has a draft helper. And you can select certain heroes and see what their win rate is with other heroes combined with them. Granted, Stitch's win rate at the moment is 39%, so it's not a very good launching point for the guy. But I want to believe that Stitches could work in his current form, much like we talked about with Rexar today. I just kind of take everything at face value and make it work. Other than Diablo, we've been there. So in that case, you have a specialist. Let's, just kind of something you have to really fill out the team with other solid things that have great engage, great heals, great damage. But ideally, you have some guy that's going to be able to isolate and pick off a single thing from afar, drag it into a corner, and you need something that's going to help that lockdown. So you need stuns. Because you've got the pull, but once it's to the Stitches, the Vala floats away. Someone else uses some sort of speed ability to get away. The Brightwing teleports out. In fact, I would love to see a Butcher combined with Stitches, because it's such a great stun and such high damage, and it's easy to get that final body block in.
This is a really cool tool. I just went to it, the draft helper on Hotslogs. I have not really played around with it before, so I just drug Stitches up into my draft, and the top 4 heroes with him are Nazebo, Skeleton King, Lili, and Raynor.
Right, and if you select, Zebo in this case, it then changes, and suddenly you're actually kind of putting your win rate up. Stitches, Nazebo, and Lili, they have a 54% win rate. That's not too bad. Clearly, Stitches is being acknowledged in his place by adding a Leoric into that combo.
So according to Hotslogs, Stitches, Nazebo, Lili, Zeratul have a 58.9% win rate, but it's completely at a loss as to what the 5th hero should be.
Right, this comp does not happen enough for the computer to actually handle it. But
this is such
it would
a fun
need
tool.
to be another tank.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would just grab Leoric in this very bizarre scenario here. Not that I think you would be able to run over this tool, plug some stuff in, and communicate to your team fast enough to actually do a damn thing about it. But cool tool nonetheless. So I would definitely try and build around it to the best of your ability.
Right, and be patient with him, because ideally a Stitches is going to want to sit in a bush for longer than that darn Nova who never auto-attacks anything.
Yeah.
But if they got the skills, it'll pay off.
And there's the timer.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, we can take an extension. Any closing thoughts on the Stitches discussion?
I'm good. I want to stick to the time, man.
Sweet.
You did that well. Don't ruin it.
No, I just didn't want Master DS to feel like he missed out on any knowledge. But I feel for him there. I've definitely been in that situation where it's like, why did you first? Why did you do that? I don't know what to do now.
We all want to win, right? Why are you doing this to everybody?
Yeah. I've totally been there. I understand it. So good question, everyone. Now let's take one last email in our non-strategy section.
Darkness stopped calling.
Darkness just texted me.
It's not the moment, it's a hero brawler!
You can say it as many times as you want. That doesn't make it true. Send your emails to itncast@gmail.com. Our email today comes to us from Chad, and he writes, my friends and I were talking about who is the best overall hero in the game currently. Not the most powerful or most DPS, but the hero that, if played correctly, can have the biggest influence on a match. Most of us agree that Sylvanas is the hero that can have the most influence on a match, and on the flip side, can lose the match if played by a noob. What are your thoughts about the overall most versatile, influential hero? Kyle, we'll start with you. Who do you think's the kind of just best overall?
Ooh, best overall? The Skeleton King. Because the numbers are there, and I totally played him a ton. And he's awesome, and I love his high damage and his tank ability and everything about him. And the fact that he can, ghost. But if we're talking what has the biggest impact on the game, actually, Lost Vikings, in my opinion. Because nothing is quite as sweet as that one really insistent Lost Vikings that you maybe get once in a blue moon that's like, guys, I got every lane on Earth. You guys have fun. and those guys are pissed, right? If you step out of line for a second, if you go in a lane to grab an orb, they're like, no, get out of here. I got this. Go gank something.
For Rome, go.
Exactly. Oh, it's fun. It's good. I love it.
It's the opposite of how I feel usually with an Abathur on my team.
Right.
It's like it's the opposite.
Yeah, Abathur is more like, let's stumble through and maybe our Abathur is a god. There's so many matches you just feel down the entire game, but then you look at the XP and he is like 20,000 higher than anybody else.
Yep.
He's the only reason you're still in the darn thing. Maybe it's kind of an optical illusion, right? It's just a bunch of Abathur sitting around like, oh, I'll just ruin the game and then everyone thinks I'm awesome.
I had a fantastic game with an Abathur last week. And I don't mean we won. We lost. He was a great Abathur.
Well, that's good. That's important for you to acknowledge.
Every single thing he could be doing, he was doing. Lines were where they should be. Hats were on people that needed hats. What is it called when he makes a copy? I don't play enough Abathur.
Oh, Ultimate Evolution.
Ultimate Evolutions were happening when you should be Ultimate Evolutioning. It was great. It was a beautiful Abathur. It was like a work of art. We lost. Barely, though. It was a close game.
By the way, you can hat Misha, and then it puts the Hive Mind symbiote on Rexar so you can shoot off the same hero for double damage. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, that's interesting. Huh. That's super cool.
Yeah, not like you would really want to sacrifice that much body to get a Rexar and then an Abathur.
That is true.
Probably shouldn't happen, but cool nonetheless.
Probably shouldn't happen, but it's really cool. Kyle Ferguson, 2015. I feel like I still kind of lean towards Zeratul. I feel like if Zeratul is just played correctly, to me, he's the only character that feels like an actual carry, the closest thing we have to a carry in Dota. And if he's played incorrectly, it can just spiral out of control.
Ched for that same way too, man. I don't know what those special Chens inject in themselves, but sometimes you just get one and he's in that master skin, and holy heck, that guy's cool.
Yeah, Chen is really interesting, right? It's like they have their own little cult. Like
definitely the Church of Chen. And I mean, you look at these numbers, and man, Leoric's up to 89,000 games played. So clearly, kind of a top player. How many games played in the last 7 days on Chen? 6,000.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a lot. It's a special club. It's like when I don't know, like we own a car that there aren't a lot of in town. That it's a weird little Japanese sports car, and anytime we see someone else with the same car, they wave to us.
Yeah. Well, I had a Subaru Baja, one of those ones that looks like a shoe, a little slip-on. And everywhere, just hey, and it was always people with like hippies with like bikes in the back, and it was a cult.
Yeah, and I've never had that experience before. Previously, my last car was a Prius, which was just a billion of, and my last car before that was a Mustang, which there was just a billion of. So this is the first time, but it's like that's how I get. I feel like if you're a Chen and you meet another Chen, you guys just like high five, and you're like, yeah, body block with that barrel.
And why do you think? Why do you think people on like Harleys are so nice all the time? It's that very same thing. They're always like riding around with teddy bears for children's hospitals, or like helping some dude whose cars broke down. Not those dudes on like those guys are dicks, and they just want to skip traffic and break laws.
Yeah, the guys just want to go out and feel the wind in their beard on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just so happy because they have all these friends they've never met. They're just driving around, hey, I'm Harley, woo. No. My dad used to have a Harley, and that was totally exactly his experience.
My dad finally got one. He wanted one his whole life. Granted, he was raising kids and all that, so he finally got one. Could not be more happy for him. Out there on the road, the wind in his it's all gone, isn't it? No hair.
We're at the end of the show now, so I feel safe getting relatively off topic. Motorcycles scare the hell out of me. I have never had the slightest interest in owning one, and I still don't. And I like cars, and I like things that go fast. I'm not generally averse to that kind of thing. But man, motorcycles, I just no thank you. I'm good. I feel like part of that is growing up in Florida. There's a lot of people still driving that probably shouldn't be, and I have seen more than my fair share of horror shows on display with like an Oldsmobile that just ran a red light and someone that just happened to be on a motorcycle.
Yeah, there's a lot of those in Florida, and because you have one highway through the whole darn state, they can't do much about it other than throw a tarp. And that's not exactly. I rode a scooter all through college, man. I mean, it wouldn't go up over 35, but I wiped out on that thing once, and that was scary enough for me.
I believe it, man. Yeah, I like cars, man. I like being in a cabin with a big old fat steering wheel. It's nice. It's a good feeling.
Right, I want self-driving cars. I don't even want to try. putting my feet down when I stop. Oh, exhausting.
No, I like driving. I like driving a lot. Except when you're on the way to Dragon Con, and Georgia is apparently littered with highway patrolmen.
Yeah, well, and don't park their signs for some odd reason. Georgia is extremely animate about not parking on the side of anything.
This doesn't seem to be a car-friendly state. This is not the vibe I got while I was there.
The darn size of the thing, you'd hope they'd like cars a little more.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
it takes forever.
Hey guys, we know it's Georgia and it's really way too big. So our speed limit is at least 30 miles faster than everywhere else. All right, have fun. Get out of this state. Why are you here? I don't like Georgia that much. Dragon Con was a blast. Georgia, I can take her.
Oh, was it in Atlanta?
Yeah, it was in Atlanta.
Oh, so like the one bastion of civilization in Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, it was fun. It was fun. Again, guys, go listen to The Angry Nerd. It should be up on iTunes hopefully tomorrow. If not, go to amove.tv/TAN blog. And the first episode is right there. It's me talking all alone by myself about my thoughts and stuff.
That's chaos.
That's now I'm sitting in the car talking to myself. That's chaos.
Make that a bumper at the beginning.
I should. That's going to do it for this week's episode. Again, thanks to our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN for supporting the show. If you'd like to support us, we welcome it. Send us a dime, send us a dollar, however much you want to give. Thank you so much. Also, thanks to those of you who are giving us iTunes reviews. And Kyle, this week, we have finally caught up on iTunes reviews. So if you are sitting around and you're listening to this on iTunes and you haven't dropped us a review, please do so. It is ever so kind. So thanks this week to Deuce Hammer, Fro.Baggins, which I love, Heel Central, and Gilligamesh, who says, would take overnightus about Into the Nexus.
Flattered?
Yeah, it was a 5-star review, but I'm not sure that's a compliment. But
right.
Hey, I appreciate it. I will take that as a compliment, because you know what? If I take that literally, it means we are the maw to everyone else's nidus. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Anyways, Into the Nexus is produced by amove.tv and our Patreon producer, Declan H. You can see more about this and all of the other AMove shows over at amove.tv. Email us at itncast@gmail.com. Catch us live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/amovetv or on alphageekradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at ITNcast. Follow us on Facebook /amovetv and over on Reddit at itnpodcast.reddit.com. Also, big thanks to Brian Griffith for our intro music. Check him out over at briangriffithmusic.com or DJing my wedding this Halloween. I'm excited for that. It's going to be a good time. Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find me at kyleferguson.com, where you can find my Dungeons & Dragons articles, as well as sign up for a Heroes coaching lesson. I've been able to help out a number of people. Got to do a really sweet ETC lesson the other day. I got to do, what was the one I did today? It's based on me. Murden? Yeah, we worked on Murden. We worked on Monk. Check it out. Also, check out Solo Q&A Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/amovetv. This past week was pretty much all Rexar. Week before that was all Skeleton King. There's lots of instructional video. I always include the builds, so check those out. And follow me at Kyle Ferguson on Twitter.
Sweet. Follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art. You can also find me on nomoonart.com for my graphic... Excuse me, I just had a hiccup out of nowhere. For my graphic design portfolio. On The Angry Chicken, talking about Hearthstone. On The Angry Nerd, talking about whatever the hell I want. And check out our sponsors, DogHouseSystems.com. Use the code ITN. You'll get a 120 gigabyte solid-state drive added onto your rig. And that same code over at tweakedaudio.com will get you 30% off and free shipping off of your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds from Tweaked Audio. Once again, that's going to do it for this show. We will see you patrons in the after-show games. And until then, we have executed Order 66. Good luck and have fun.
Oh, take care. That's awesome.